Hello everybody, hope all of you are well. And in my last class, I was discussing about the hybridization. And we have completed the discussion up to the mixing of s and p orbital. And today, I will discuss the hybridization involving s, p and d orbital also. So, if we take one example, that will be better. All of you know the number of electrons in phosphorus, that will be 15. So if we write the electronic configuration, that is the valence shell electronic configuration of phosphorus, that will be the 3s2 3p3 and 3d0. This is the ground state. Next, if we supply energy or in excited state, this is the ground state. So by absorption of energy, one electron from 3s orbital will promote to 3d orbital. So we will get in this way. So this is the excited state electronic configuration of the phosphorus atom. Next, what will happen? That one s orbital, 3p orbital, this 3p orbital and one d orbital will mix. So after mixing these orbital, we will get sp3d hybridization. And we will get 5 equivalent energy hybrid orbitals, okay, containing one unpaired electron in each case. Now, if we consider the formation of PCl5, then 5 chlorine will come, that will form sigma bond with one unpaired electron with this 5 hybrid orbital. In this way it will be paired. And if we draw the structure, so this hybrid orbital will try to remain as far as possible to minimize the repulsion between the bonding pair electron. So here the hybridization is sp3d and the structure will be trigonal bipyramidal. So we draw the structure, you can easily understand. The shape of the molecule is trigonal bipyramidal shape. And these bonds in the triangle, okay, they are shorter compared to the axial. Axial bond distance or bond length will be greater. And this bond is called equatorial bond. These 3 bonds, okay, that is in the triangle. These are called equatorial bonds. And these bonds are called axial bonds. Okay, hope you can understand. And here one thing is important, that you know the shape of the s orbital. So this one is the s orbital and p orbital is the dumbbell's effect. And now 5 d orbitals are there. Which one will take part? So here dz orbital will take part, okay, in this hybridization. That you have to remember. And whenever you will write the hybrid orbitals, so hybrid orbital distribution will be like this. This is triangular okay, or trigonal bipyramidal hybrid orbitals. Okay, so here this bond angle will be 120 degree. Each bond angle, okay, that is equatorial PCL bond angle will be 120 degree. All are 120 degree. And here if we consider this axial and equatorial bond angle, that will be 90 degree. And if we consider this axial to this axial bond angle, that will be 180 degree. That also I will discuss. So that also you have to keep in mind. Next we will discuss another type of, so this one is sp3d or dsp3 hybridization. Okay, so we are getting that trigonal bipyramidal shape. Next we will discuss sp3d2 type of hybridization. Okay, if we take one example of the molecule of SF6, then you can easily understand. So what will be the outer shell or valence shell electronic configuration of sulfur? So sulfur electronic configuration will be 3s Cp, and there will be also 3d. This is the ground state electronic configuration. Now what will happen after absorption of energy? So these two electron will promote, one p electron will promote this d orbital, next this electron will promote to this d orbital. Okay, by absorption of energy. Okay, absorption of energy. Okay, now what will be the excited state electronic configuration? So all will have one unpaired electron. Here also 2d have one unpaired electron. Now 1s and 3p and 2d will combine and we will get the hybridization, that is sp3d2 hybridization. Okay, now here we will get 6 equivalent energy hybrid orbitals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hybrid orbitals. Okay, and each containing one unpaired electron. Next, if we consider the SF6 molecule, so each fluorine atom will form one sigma bond by donating one opposite spin unpaired electron. Okay. So in this way the SF6 molecule will be formed, and if we draw the structure, then it will be octahedral shape. Okay, and the bond pair of electrons will arrange in a way to minimize the repulsion. So here the shape of the molecule will be like this. So these are the equatorial bonds. Okay, and this one is the axial bond. Now here each bond angle will be 90 degree. These are all 90 degree, and here also this axial equatorial bond angle is 90 degree. Okay. Now here one thing is very important, that what type of d orbital will take part in this hybridization, that is sp3d2. So here you have to remember that the type of d orbital will be axial, so it will be dx square minus y square and dz square type of orbital. Okay, that will take part in the hybridization. And if we draw the hybrid orbitals around sulfur, so it will be like this. These are the hybrid orbitals forming the octahedral shape, and the SF6 molecule will be also octahedral shape, and these are of regular geometry because there is no lone pair of electron. If there is a lone pair of electron, then there will be repulsion and there will be distortion of the structure. Next we will discuss another hybridization, that is sp3d3 hybridization. Here also we will take one example, that is the case of IF7. So if we write the ground state electronic configuration of iodine, that will be the 5s2 5p5 and there will be one d orbital also, vacant d orbital. So this is completely vacant. Now this is called ground state. Next step, what will happen? There will be absorption of energy. And here these 3 electrons, okay, these p electrons also will go to this 5d cell, and this s electron also will go step by step to this 5d cell, and finally we will get total 7 number of unpaired electrons. Total 7 unpaired electrons. Now one s orbital and 3 p orbital and 3 d orbital will combine with each other, forming the hybridization sp3d3. Okay. And here we will get the 7 equivalent energy hybrid orbital. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and each containing one unpaired electron. Now we discuss the IF7 molecule. So 7 fluorine atom will come and will form sigma bond all are forming sigma bond by pairing and forming bond, pairing of this electron and forming bond. Now what will be the shape of this molecule? Now to minimize the repulsion, that will be pentagonal bipyramidal like this. Here at the central atom will be the iodine. The size is big, and these are the equatorial bonds, and there will be 2 axial bonds. And here if you consider the bond angle here will be around 72 degree, and this is the 90 degree. Actually here total 360 degree. So if you divided total, how many angles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 360 degree by 5. That means it is coming 72 degree. And this axial equatorial bond will be 90 degree, and if you consider this axial to this axial bond, that will be 180 degree. Hope you can understand. And here the hybrid orbital picture will be like this, and there will be 2 axial. This is nothing but pentagonal bipyramidal of structure. Now here one thing is important, that we are using 3 d orbitals. Okay. Now which d orbital will take part during this hybridization? Generally here the d orbitals in between axis is there, that is the dxy, dyz and dzx will take part in this hybridization. So hope you can understand. So these are the all about the hybridization. Now we will show you one very easy procedure how to determine the hybridization by a very simple formula. Okay. Generally, if we write that hybridization is equal to H, or we are writing hybridization, that is equal to H is equal to the half of the valence electron. V is the valence electron. Okay. Which valence electron? That is the central atom. Now which one will be the central atom? The atom in bigger size, that will be the central atom. Plus X. Now what is X? X is the number of the monovalent atoms. plus, next we have to write that minus C. Minus C, now what is the C? C is the charge on the cation. If there is formation of cation, okay, so C will be the charge. And plus A. Plus A is the anion charge. Okay, charge on the anion. If we discuss some example, then you can easily understand. Suppose if we consider very easy molecule, that is the methane. So what will be the number of hybrid orbitals? Okay, or hybrid, here we are considering H is equal to the hybrid orbitals. Okay, so from here we can easily calculate the hybridization. So H is nothing hybridization, it is hybrid orbitals. From hybrid orbitals we can easily calculate the hybridization. Okay, so in case of CH4, what will be the H? H will be half into valence is equal to 4, monovalent is bonded atom is 4, and there is no charge, so this part is 0, so it will coming as 4. 4 hybrid orbitals means it will be sp3 hybridization. It has sp3 hybridization. So in this way you can easily find out the hybridization of a particular molecule. Now if we consider one cationic species, that is CH3 plus. So CH3 plus H will be half into 4 plus 4 minus, it is the charge on the cation, only 1 is there, minus 1. Okay, so sorry, here will be the 3 because 3 hydrogen is there. CH3, 3 hydrogen is there, so 4 plus 3 minus 1, and anion, no anion is there, so it will be 0. So from here you can write that is 6 by 2, that will be 3. So in case of 3 hybrid orbital, the hybridization will be sp2. Now if we consider CH3 minus, in case of CH3 minus, what will be the hybridization? So here if we calculate H will be half into 4 plus 4. Okay, so here no, so here also CH3 minus, here also 3 is there. CH3 minus 3, number of monovalent single atom is 3. So 4 plus 3, and the positive charge is 0, so minus 0, plus negative charge on the carbon atom is only 1, so 1. So from here we are getting 4. So CH3 also hybridization will be what? sp3. So if we draw the structure of CH3 plus, it will be planar structure. So this is the structure of CH3 plus. One vacant orbital will be there. But in case of CH4 minus, the structure will be like this. sp3 hybridized and one corner occupied by lone pair is CH4 minus. So it will be pyramidal structure, triangular base pyramidal structure. So in case of CH3 minus, it will be triangular base pyramidal structure. So in this way, by using this formula, you can easily can calculate the number of hybrid orbital, and from the number of hybrid orbital you can easily calculate the hybridization. If there is only 2 hybrid orbital, then it will be sp hybridized. If there is 3 hybrid orbital, then there will be sp2 hybridization. If there is 4 hybrid orbitals, definitely it will be sp3. But if there is 5 hybrid orbitals, definitely it will be sp3d. And if there is 6 hybrid orbital, that will be sp3d2. If there is 7 hybrid orbital, then it will be sp3d3. Okay, that you have to remember. Now if we discuss the shape of the carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. All of you know that carbon dioxide is a linear molecule, but sulfur dioxide is a bent molecule. So from here we can easily understand. Okay, suppose in case of carbon dioxide, if we want to apply that formula, that the number of hybrid orbital, that will be half, and the number of valence electron for carbon will be 4, and oxygen we will not consider, so it will be half into 4. Okay, that will be 2. So if there is 2 hybrid orbital, that means the carbon dioxide will be sp2 hybridized, sorry, sp hybridized. So in case of sp hybrid orbital, you know it will be linear. So here the carbon dioxide molecule shape will be linear because it is sp hybridized. And when we are considering the sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide, here also the number of hydrogen will be half into number of valence electron of sulfur, that will be 6. So here 3, that will be 3 hybrid orbitals. Definitely the hybridization will be sp2 hybridization. So one will be occupied by lone pair and other will be there 2 bonds. So it is a V-shaped type of molecule. Okay, and definitely it is not a linear structure, it is a bent structure. So from here we can easily understand. Another example I will discuss, the ClF3 molecule. In your book many examples are there, you will practice from your book. Okay, in case of ClF3 molecule, Cl is the central atom because size is bigger. Now in case of Cl, if we want to calculate the number of hybrid orbital, that will be, in case of chlorine, the number of valence electron will be 7 plus fluorine is 3. So 7 plus 3 is equal to 10 by 2. That means 5 hybrid orbitals. Definitely it will be sp3d hybridization. So the shape of this molecule will be like this. There is one rule that is also called Bend's rule. So here first the fluorine fluorine atoms are highly electronegative. Okay, they will generally prefer the axial position. First axial will fill up, then equatorial will come, and one will be occupied by one lone pair of electrons. So now see, when lone pair is present in a particular molecule, this is not regular structure, they are different distortion. And here it is not, lone pair is not determining the shape of the bond, only the bond pair electron is determining. So its shape will be like this, there is the T-shaped molecule. So here in ClF3 it is not trigonal bipyramidal or TBP shape. Okay, here you have to write the shape of the molecule is T-shaped, that you have to write. Now if we consider that I3 minus, in case of I3 minus, if we consider the hybridization, so or hybrid orbitals, so H will be here, in case of iodine there will be 7 and 2 single bonded iodine is there plus 2, and for one negative charge we have to add 1. So here also the number of hybrid orbitals will be 5. So what will be the shape? Here also this iodine will take the axial position, and the equatorial positions will be taken position by lone pair. Okay, so from here we can easily understand the shape of the I3 molecule will be linear. It is not trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, that you have to keep in mind. Okay, next we will discuss some parameters. That is called bond parameters. Now all of you know that bond length is defined as the equilibrium distance between the centers of the nuclei of the two bonded atoms in a molecule, and it is generally expressed in angstrom or picometer. Okay, suppose if we draw one molecule, covalent molecule, okay, then what will be the bond length here? There may be some overlap also. Okay, so bond length will be the distance between this center or nucleus of the two atoms. So this is the bond length of this AB type of molecule. Hope you can understand. So if we give it D, bond length is equal to D. If the radius of this atom A is RA and radius of atom B is RB, so D, bond length D is equal to RA plus RB. Okay. Now, which factors affecting the bond length? First of all, size of the atom. Bond length increases with increase in the size of the atoms. If we consider HI, definitely the bond length will be higher compared to the HBr, then HCl, then HF. So from iodine to fluorine, we know the size decreases as well as the bond length will also decreases. And second is the bond multiplicity. Bond length decreases with increase in the bond multiplicity. So if we take any carbon-carbon triple bond. Okay, here the bond multiplicity order is 3. So what will be the length of this carbon-carbon triple bond? Okay, here bond length will be around 120 picometer. But if we consider it will be less. Okay, if we decrease the bond multiplicity, here we are considering the double bond. In case of double bond, it will increase, bond length will increase 134 picometer. But if we consider the single carbon-carbon bond length, here multiplicity is only 1, bond order is only 1, so definitely the bond length will increase, that will be around 154 picometer. That you have to keep in mind. Next one is the types of hybridization. With the increase of the percentage of S character of the hybrid orbital, bond length will decrease. We can consider examples. If we take one hydrogen atom containing this carbon is sp3 hybridized. So what will be the bond length here? Here bond length will be around 1.093 angstrom. Okay. Next, if we consider on sp2h carbon atom, suppose here double bond is there, and we are considering this carbon hydrogen bond. Okay, definitely what will happen in this case? Bond length will increase or decrease? The bond length will decrease, because here the percentage of S character is 25%, and this one is sp2 hybridized. Here percentage of S character will be 33%, increasing. That will be 1.078 angstrom. Next one, if we discuss, that is carbon-carbon triple bond CH. This one is sp hybridized. Here percentage of S character will be 50%, and here the bond length will be 1.057 angstrom. So bond length continuously decreases if we increase the S character. Next, we will discuss another important parameter, that is called bond energy or bond enthalpy. The bond energy or bond enthalpy is the amount of energy required to break, okay, one mole bond, that is the Avogadro number of bonds, so as to get the isolated gaseous atom, is called bond dissociation energy. Actually, in practice, we take the average of all the four different values of the bond dissociation energies of same type of bonds. If we consider methane, there will be 4 CH bonds, okay, and here each bond have different bond energies. First one will be 104, second one will be 106, then 106, then 81, that will be in kilocalorie per mole. So here we have to take the average. If we take the average, then we will get around 99.25 kilocalorie per mole. So this average value, then it is termed as the bond enthalpy. Now, on which factors this bond energy or bond enthalpy depends? First of is the bond length. Shorter the bond length, okay, greater will be the value of the bond enthalpy. Next one is the size of the bonded atom. Shorter the size of the bonded atom, greater is the bond dissociation energy. That means when we want to decrease the bond length, the atom are coming closer and attraction will be higher. So the bond enthalpy will be higher. Now next you can discuss the electronegativity. Greater is the electronegativity difference between the bonded atoms, greater will be the value of their enthalpy. Next one is the bond multiplicity. So if we increase the bond multiplicity, the bond enthalpy will also increase. Next one is the nature of the lone pairs, okay, or number of the lone pairs. Bond enthalpy decreases with the increase in the number of lone pairs. I can give you one example so that you can easily understand. Suppose we are considering the ethane molecule. In ethane molecule there will be carbon-carbon bond. So in this case, what will be the bond enthalpy? This will be around 348 kilojoule per mole. Here no lone pair is there. So this one we are considering this ethane molecule. Now here we are considering only this carbon-carbon bond. Okay. Next, if we consider the nitrogen-nitrogen bond in hydrogen, here two lone pair is there on each nitrogen atom. One lone pair is there. Here also one lone pair. So lone pair repulsion will be there, and here bond energy will decrease. It will be around 163 kilojoule per mole. Hope you can understand. So a huge amount of decrease is there because the repulsion, okay, it will weaken the bond. And if we take the oxygen, so hydrogen peroxide, you know that this bond is very much unstable. Here total 4 lone pairs are present. In each oxygen atom there may be 4 lone pairs. So here if we considering this bond, we are considering carbon-carbon bond. So what we will observe here also, decrease of bond enthalpy, that will be around 146 kilojoule per mole. Hope you can understand. Next, another point is there, that is the type of hybridization. Bond enthalpy increases with the increase in the S character but decreases with the increasing in the P character of the hybrid orbitals. Next one is the type of bonds. Okay, if there is head-on overlap, if there is forming of sigma bond, definitely the bond energy will be, or bond enthalpy will be higher. Huge amount of energy or more amount of energy is required to break this bond compared to the pi bond. In case of pi bond, there will be lateral overlap, definitely the bond will be weak. Okay, so in this way we have completed the bond enthalpy. Next we will discuss the another parameter, that is the bond angle. Bond angle is defined as the angle between the two bonded atoms, the two bonded atoms around the central atom. Already we have discussed in case of methane structure. So in case of methane structure, if we draw the structure, you can easily understand. This is the tetrahedral structure of methane. So here the bond angle in each case will be 109 degree, 28 degree. Okay. Now if we consider the others type of like ammonia, in case of ammonia the bond angle will be, here one lone pair is there. So here the bond angle will be around 107 degree. Okay. But if we consider water molecule, in case of water molecule there will be two lone pair. So here bond angle will be 104.5 degree. Now why the bond angles are different? So there are some factors which is acting here. So factors affecting the bond angle, that is the first one is type of hybridization. If we consider sp3 hybridized, this one is sp3 where all are sp3 hybrid orbitals. But in case of sp3, if there is no lone pair of electron, regular structure is there, then bond angle will be 109 degree, 28 minute. But if we consider sp2 hybrid orbital, the bond angle will be 120 degree, and if we consider sp hybrid orbital, the bond angle will be 180 degree. But the number of lone pair of electrons, so here that is the important. Here in nitrogen, one lone pair is there, so definitely there will be lone pair, bond pair repulsion. One very important theory is there. Next day I will discuss, that is called Vespa theory. So here because of this repulsion, lone pair bond pair and bond pair, as lone pair bond pair repulsion is high compared to the bond pair, so the bond will decrease. But in case of water, there is two lone pair of electrons. So there are lone pair repulsion, lone pair bond pair, as well as bond pair repulsion is there. But lone pair repulsion is higher compared to the lone pair bond pair repulsion. That is why the bond angle again decreases. Okay. Another thing you have to keep in mind, that the electronegativity. Electronegativity of the central atom of a molecule increases the bond angle. Okay. And if we consider the electronegativity of the atom bonded to the central atom, okay, then it will decrease the bond angle. Okay. Now hope you can understand what I am telling, that electronegativity of the central atom of a molecule increases, then the bond angle increases. Okay. And but if the electronegativity of the atom bonded to the central atom decreases, and bond angle will be increases. Okay. Next day when I will give one example, then you can easily understand. Suppose when we are considering that NH3 molecule, okay, then the bond angle is 107 degree. Okay. But when we are considering the bond angle of NF3, the bond angle will be 102 degree. Okay. If we draw the structure, then you can easily understand. This one is the NH3 and this one is the NH3. Now here central atom is more electronegative compared to this one, so this atom will attack the bonding pair electron here. But because of this because of this lone pair bond pair repulsion, the angle will decrease somewhat 109 degree 28 minute to 107 degree. But here what is happening, fluorine is more electronegative than nitrogen, so this will attack the bonding pair electron towards itself. So here the bonded atoms electronegativity increases, definitely the repulsion will decrease, and here bond angle, okay, this repulsion bond pair repulsion decrease and the bond angle will decrease. Here the bond angle will be 107 degree and here the bond angle will be what, 102 degree. Hope you can understand, and next day again I will discuss the phase path theory. So today up to this, okay, and you will read all the examples from your book. If you have any questions, okay, in live class also you can ask. So today up to this, thank you.